It's early morning at the village of Do Son on the north coast of Vietnam. The fishing boats have been out all night using bright lights to attract their catch. Now they're at the beach on this rainy morning selling what they've caught. They'll sleep on their boats and go out again tonight. It's a routine that goes on endlessly up and down Vietnam's 1,200-mile coastline. In a country that lives on rice, fish provides some of the proteins needed to balance diets. Vietnam's paddies produce so much rice that the country ranks among the world's top rice exporters. And next door China is a ready market. The great river basins and deltas of the Red River in the far north and the Mekong River in the far south, seen here, generate huge harvests through irrigation, multiple cropping, and the use of high-yield strains. Vietnam's south is centered on the country's largest city, Saigon, officially Ho Chi Minh City. Its river port is crowded with ocean-going freighters. They're loaded and unloaded by means ranging from the modern to the manual. Saigon's government has big plans for the city. Here near the river port of Saigon, the Vietnamese government has designated a 2-square-mile area as a free trade zone. Construction is going on now. Infrastructure is being built. Roads and electricity and buildings to attract investors who will not have to cope with the rules of the Vietnamese economy. Tax advantages and labor advantages will attract them rather in the manner of the Chinese special economic zones. And the Vietnamese hope that this someday will be the Pudong, the Hong Kong of Vietnam. Meanwhile, Saigon's skyline changes by the day. High-rise hotels are going up, where one night stay costs what the average Vietnamese worker makes in a year. Old buildings are being torn down or renovated. Old neighborhoods, like this one, are scheduled to disappear. Some Vietnamese business people survived the transition to communism and seized the opportunity when it came. This woman, Mrs. Ann Nang, worked in the United States Embassy during the Vietnam War, was denied passage to the U.S., but sent her young sons to America when she got the opportunity, and when they were not even 8 years old. Here's their story.
I opened tourist agency on 1989 because I opened the reason I want to find out to my son. Yeah.
And you brought them back?
Yeah.
So let me ask him about his experience. How did you decide to come back, and when did it all happen?
Well,
Went to school in the United States?
yes, I was about 7 years old, and my brother was about 6 when we left for the States in April of 1975. During that time, we lost touch with my mother because she was being relocated.
Yes.
Until 1991, I received at about 4 o'clock in the morning, I was at San Jose State University dorm. I received this phone call, and the person on the other end says, "This is your mother speaking." And that was the first time in close to 18 years did I hear my mother's voice.
Incredible.
And then in December of 91, we had our first family reunion. And in 1993, my mother's business here was blossoming, and she needed a lot of help. And so my brother and I decided to come back and help my mother expand her travel business.
And the business is a travel, tourism,
And trading.
and trading business.
Yes, we work with over 32 different companies over 13 nations. And she's well known in a lot of the books like The Lonely Planet.
And what is the name of the business?
It's Ann's Trading and Tourist Company.
Ann's Trading and Tourist Company.
Yes, we were the first private enterprise to be issued a private license in Ho Chi Minh City in early 1991.
Since 1991, you've
Yes,
been
we were
trading.
the first private enterprise in Ho Chi Minh City.
And is everything going well?
We've expanded now. We're in every major city from here to Hanoi. Our business mainly started from by word of mouth. So everybody found us by word of mouth.
And obviously this has been sufficient to do well and to continue to expand?
Yes, with my mother's advice and also some of our new ideas, I think we have worked to be a very competitive company.
And do you feel secure about being able to go back to the United States and come back again? Is it open now enough that you can go back and forth?
I think with Vietnam, with this new open door policy, it has helped a lot of the overseas Vietnamese who are coming back for the first time, and also the returning businessmen who want to expand and help invest in Vietnam.
Wonderful. Let me ask, did you go to the same school, you two brothers?
Yes, I did, and we came back together.
You came back together?
Yeah.
Did you go to, what school did you go to in the United States?
Went to San Jose State.
San Jose State University?
Yes.
Well, we will make sure that San Jose State University gets mentioned. Are you going back for the reunion sometime, I hope?
Yes, probably in the near future.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes.
Today, Saigon is the vanguard of free market, or rather freer market economics in Vietnam. Consumer goods not seen for decades fill shops and sidewalks. The building boom has international dimensions. Australian money built this grey office tower rising over the French colonial administration building in the foreground. Compared to Saigon, the capital of Vietnam, Hanoi, presents quite a different picture. The capital, focus of the North's Red Basin, is less than half Saigon's size. And here, bureaucracy and dogma reign, not markets and energy. Hanoi is much older than Saigon, and you can find traces of its historical geography in the cultural landscape. These French colonial buildings still dominate part of the city center. Monuments to communist rulers are much in evidence here at the center of the country's ideology. This is the mausoleum to Ho Chi Minh, the wartime ruler who led Vietnam to victory over the United States. But travel the streets of Hanoi and you will see that nothing to compare to Saigon's development boom is taking place here. Hanoi's relative location and degree of accessibility are far less favorable than Saigon's. Vietnam is a country of many belief systems, and it has long been a stronghold of Buddhism. Buddhist temples and shrines, large and small, stand in countless cities and towns. The French colonial period introduced Christianity, and there still is a Roman Catholic community in Saigon, as attested by the city's cathedral. In elongated Vietnam, water is never very far away. Small villages such as Cam Lan cluster, it seems, wherever there is a bay to accommodate fishing boats. Note the high relief coastline Vietnam has here in the lower middle part of its coast. Part of Vietnam is indeed a coastal plain near the coast, but much of it has high relief all the way to the ocean edge. Larger towns such as Nha Trang lie at the mouths of rivers. Thousands of people live on their boats in the harbor. We're looking toward the ocean here. Notice the high relief. Also note the pipeline for water that accompanies the bridge across the estuary. Elsewhere along its lengthy coastline, Vietnam offers magnificent beaches and spectacular scenery. On a misty day, Ha Long Bay's 3,000 islands present a wondrous landscape that has inspired poets and travelers for centuries. This is karst topography of the most majestic type, the product of coastal uplift, sea level changes, and limestone dissolving to leave these towers of rock in the tranquil sea. But even here in this incomparable setting, economics intrude, and at a high cost. As Vietnam's tourist industry grows, Vietnamese in search of income sell whatever they can. Those white objects in the smaller boat are pieces of coral freshly hacked from the reef offshore. The new era in Vietnam has great promise, but also great dangers. The tropical country's fragile environments lie directly in the path of those dangers.